What's up guys, it's Adam from Warbringer here, and today I'm going to do a video breakdown of our song Silhouettes, track number 1 off our 5th studio album, Woe to the Vanquished. Little backstory to this song, started with me just dicking around with riffs, originally titled FRANTIC Riff, between John Keevil and myself. Going to be playing this today on my LTD guitar with my fresh Dean Markley strings, tuned to E flat. Hopefully you dig it, hopefully you catch it. Let's get started. Lick 1. Alright, so for those of you that haven't heard the song yet, it does start with a fade-in of the main riff. And the drums kind of follow the guitar on this fade-in, which is going to be a 5-note chug on the E string, just straight. And it repeats that for about 4 bars as the fade-in continues with what we'll call lick number 1, or riff 1, or riff A, whatever have you. Also known as frantic riff. So it's going to be all rooted on the E string, starting with a pull-off from 11 to 8 on the A string, followed immediately from pull-off 10 to 7 on the E string. All between chugging the E straight through. So, slow example of that would be this. And after the third time you do that, you'll end with a full power chord on the F to the E, which comes in on the AND. Second half is the exact same thing, but there is an accent on the end of that where the end falls into a chord progression of E, F, G, F, which is. So in full. And full speed, be something like this. Moving on to riff B, or lick 2, what have you. We just went pretty much balls out, old school Metallica style on this one, just riding the E real fast. Couple of inverted chords, which, you know what that means, basically you're going to do the opposite of what you do with a power chord. So, for example, one of the first chords we're using this is going to be 8 on the E, 6 on the A, which is this. So you saw the first half right there is me going, pedaling on the E string, and then hitting that 8-6 chord, ending on the open. Second part's going to be with a little gallop there, go from 3 to open to 3, and then these chords, which I use a lot, it's going to be 2 and 2 on the A and D, 2, 1 and 1 on the same strings. For another reference, the last tail is going to be, you get that little dun dun dun. And that's basically what leads up to our chorus, which is split into two. So it's going to be those two riffs right there back to back. It's a pretty simple straightforward chord movement. Open, G, E flat, G, F sharp, G, C, B, G, open, flat, open. Alright, and also on the chorus or riff B, or however you've kept up with me so far, there is a lead, which is just a little harmony that falls in the very end. So, say here's the chorus. And here's the harmony on these parts. And that lead is, it's going to be your high E, which I usually start on G string, fret number 9. And I'm going to play it slow for you and we'll just walk through it. So that was 9, 8, back to 9, and then just bar down to 9 on D, 10 on A, little hammer on from 10 to 9, and on 7. So once again. So second part of the harmony, starting from the same string, 12th fret in G, to 11, then 9, 9, hammer on from the 7 to the 9, 5. All on the D string for that one. So it's basically G to D. Alright, so we got the chorus down. So far so good. So what? And we're going to keep going on. It's going to go right back into the first lick that we did earlier, aka Frantic Riff. And the only exception about this time around is you're not going to use the chord accents right out the gate. It's actually going to do one bar of just the pull-offs, and then second time around you're going to do the actual accents. But this is a 3-part guitar harmony that we utilize. The first being the same as it is normally, which is your pull-off from 11-8 to 10-7. And for the second harmony, you're just going to go 3 frets down, same string, same pull-off, starting on the 8th fret to 5, then E string, 7 to 4. And the third final harmony is actually going to be the highest of all, which is going to be 3 steps up from our original. So you're originally pulling off from the 11 on the A string. You're now going to be going up to 14, 11, 13, 10. And then all together it should sound like this. Alright, so starting with the middle riff, it's just going to slam down. And it's going to be using those inverted chords I was talking about earlier, except this time as opposed to the 8 and 6, you're going to be going on the 6 and 4 on the E string and the A string. And you're going to do 3 hits on those, little gallop guy. And then we got a little intricate riff coming up after that. You're going to start open 6, 4, followed by open 6, 7. Same thing, down with the 3. And strung together, you're going to go those chugs afterwards. So then here's where you do a little pull off on that first part that you hit. The same with the 6, 4, 7, just that backwards. So remember you went that, just pull off and backwards. So altogether that's going to be chug, pull off, so the next riff we're going into is going to be open 6/4 with a little ghost note open between, and then 5 on the D string, 7 on the A string. Just that first part right there. Then repeat itself down like we did before with a 3. So that first part. And the same as earlier with the chugs. Then just drop down to the 3, G, and gallops. So strung together it'll sound. You're going to bend that last one because that bend's going to bleed back into the heavy riff with full steam double bass behind it. Alright, and also one thing you will hear on the record with that riff is that we do harmonize all those diminished little intricate pieces right there. And basically it's going to be just the exact same riff, just moved up. So for example, when you're doing the first, you're basically going to be doing that same thing, but moving it up starting on the 9th fret. Chugs are the same. So, and the harmony. And same with the second time around. And also the same with following riff. So, which will be starting on the 9 again. So you match the gallops on the 4 from the previous riff by hitting it with the 7, which follows naturally on the harmony. And the same with the bend following. Alright guys, we've made it to the last and final riff, which is also the first riff, just a little bit tweaked. So, glad you made it this far. I'm proud that I've made it this far. And we're ghosts. Alright guys, that wraps up Silhouettes. Hope you guys had a good time shredding. Keep up the practice. And we'll see you soon. Woe to the Vanquished drops March 31st. We'll be touring everywhere. So, come show me what you got. If you have any questions, come to the show. I'll tell you in person. Alright, cheers.
echo